Hello, O-level students. Today I am going to do the end of year evaluation 2020 Department of Education Central Province paper. So this is paper 2 and you get 3 hours for that. You already know there are 2 parts in this paper, part A and part B. Part A, you get 6 questions, but you have to answer only 5 questions. And also in part B, you get 6 questions and you have to answer 5 questions. So in the first page, you get question number 1, then you get the graph question. Third one, you get the simultaneous equation question. Next, you get the fourth question, statistics question. Then fifth one, trigonometry. Then sixth one. Then you get part B. Seventh question, that's progression question. Question number 8, construction question. Then question number 9, 10. Both are proofs question. And then you get question number 11, sets question. And last question, question number 12, you get volume question. So let's do the paper now. So here in paper 2, you get some important instructions. What are the instructions you are getting? Here you have to answer only 5 questions out of 6 for both parts and write the relevant steps and correct units in answering the questions, and each question worth 10 marks. And it says volume of the cylinder with radius r and the height h is pi r squared h, and the volume of the cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. And here you have to answer altogether 10 questions for 3 hours. So how many minutes you can spend for one question? Try to do within 18 minutes per question. So let's start this paper now. Let's take question number 1. A refrigerator priced at 80,000 rupees for outright purchase can be bought by paying 1/4 of its price as a down payment and paying the rest in 12 equal monthly installments of 5,975 rupees. If the interest is calculated on the reducing loan balance, find the annual interest rate. So first we have to find out the down payment. So what's the down payment? Down payment is 1/4. 1/4 of the payment. So 80,000 is the price of the refrigerator. So 80,000 into 1/4. What's the price? So you get 4 times here 2. So 20,000 rupees for the down payment. Then what is the amount needs to be paid? Amount to be paid. So that's 80,000 minus the down payment. 80,000 minus 20,000. So what's the amount? So needs to pay 60,000 rupees. But here it says the installment is 5,975 with 12 equal monthly installments. So what is the total amount already paid? Total amount paid, this is with the interest, (12 times 5,975. So let's multiply and find out the total amount. So here what we can do, we can multiply by 10 and 2. So multiply by 10 first and multiply by 2. 2 times 5, 10. 1 remaining. 2 times 7, 14 plus 1, 15. 1 remaining. 2 times 9, 18 plus 1, 19. 1 remaining and 2 times 5, 10 plus 1, 11. Now let's add it. 10, 17, 10, 11, 1 remaining, 6 plus 1, 7. So this amount already paid. But the amount to be paid is 60,000. So what is the interest already paid? Interest paid is the difference between these two. So the interest paid is 71,700 minus 60,000. So subtract these, you get 7, and here 1, 1. 11,700. So this is the total interest should be paid. How many months units are there? Then we will calculate months units. Months units. So how many months units are there? So let's take, it says 12 equal monthly installments. So how you find out months units? N into n plus 1 divided by 2. So 12 into 13 divided by 2. So 2 times here 6, 6 times 13, 78 months units are there. So after you get months units, you can find out what's the interest for a month unit. What's the interest for a month unit? Interest for a month unit. $11,700 is the total interest. Divided by 78, you get the interest for a month unit. Let's divide 78 times 1. So 107. 11,700 divided by 78. 178. 9 remaining. So 3,900. So here when you multiply it by 2, more than 2. So let's take 5. So 5. 5 times 8, 40. 4 remaining. 5 times 7, 35. Plus 4, 39. So that means you get 150 is the amount for a month unit. Now let's take, now 60,000 needs to pay, and for 12 equal months. So you can straight away find out what's the amount to be paid per month without the interest. Amount to be paid per month. So 60,000 divide by 12. So 12 times 5. So you get 5,000 rupees. Now you can find out the interest rate. So what is the annual interest rate? So the question asks to find out the annual interest rate. Annual interest rate is 150 for a month unit, and 5,000 is the amount into 12. Annual interest rate you have to multiply by 12 because this is for a month. There are 12 months per year, and then multiply by 100% to get the percentage value. So let's calculate this one. 0, 0, 5 times 3, 5 times 100, and this 100 and this 100 get cancelled out. 12 times 3, you get 36%. So that's the annual interest rate for this question. So let's give marks for this one. So altogether 10 marks for the whole question. So let's take from the beginning. So let's give marks for the first part, calculating the down payment, 1 mark, and then 1 mark for calculating the amount to be paid, and then for this answer 3 marks, multiplying by 12 and getting subtraction and find the amount, 1 mark, and then months unit 1 mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you get 150, 1 mark, and then finally you get another 1 mark for 5,000, and for the final answer 36%, 1 mark. So when you get a question like this, make sure that, so there are no steps given, just straight away the question asks to find out the annual interest rate. So make sure that you do all the steps to get the final answer. Let's do the next question. Question number 2 is a graph question. So here, first you have to fill in the blanks and then ask for a graph paper to draw this graph, and then using the graph you can answer all the questions. So let's take the graph question. So question number 2, an incomplete table of values prepared to draw the graph of the quadratic function y equals 3 minus x minus 1 whole thing squared on the interval minus 2 to 4 is given below. So find the value of y when x equals 2. So what is the first step? You have to substitute x equals 2 in the equation. So let's do that. Y equals 3 minus x minus 1 whole thing squared. Substitute 2 in x, 2 minus 1 squared. 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 squared is 1. 3 minus 1, you get 2. So this is 2. Then using a suitable scale with standard axis and the table of values, draw the graph of the quadratic function. So you have to select a suitable scale. So let's take the x values minus 2 to 4. That means when you take the graph paper, you can take 10 squares for 1 unit. So 10 squares 1 unit means very small square is 1 over 10. That's 0.1. So let's start from minus 2 somewhere here. Minus 2 minus 1, 0. So let's take, this is the y-axis. So let's take the y-axis here. Now you can scale the y-axis first. What's the maximum number? Maximum number is 3 and the minimum is minus 6. So here also you can take 10 squares 1 unit starting from 3. So I can start from 3. 3, 2, 1, and this should be the x-axis, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, and then minus 6 is the lowest. Let's draw the x-axis. So x-axis here. Now you can put numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and here minus 1, minus 2. Okay, so you get 1 mark for the scale. So what's the scale we used? y-axis also 10 squares 1 unit. So that means one small square is 0.1. Now let's mark the points. -2, -6. -1, -1. 0.2, 1.3, 2.2, 3 -1, and 4 -6. With 4, that's -6. So again, 1 mark for marking points. Now you have to connect smoothly. So what is my advice? The last 2 points you can connect with the ruler, only those 2 points, because it's a little bit far away. But when you connect the other points, make sure that you use the pencil and smoothly connect without the ruler. So let's start from the vertex point. So we can connect like this, and then from here up to here. So this is the graph. So you get 1 mark for connecting the points. So you are getting, let's give marks also for this part. You are getting 1 mark for this part, finding the value, and 3 marks, always 3 marks for drawing the graph. Scale 1 mark, marking the points 1 mark, and connecting smoothly, you get 1 marks. So let's use this graph to answer the other questions. Find the maximum value of the function. Now you have to use the graph and find the maximum value. So here, maximum value of the function. Here, this is the vertex point, maximum point. But only the y value you have to write, not the x value. So what's the value? Y equals 3, or just you can write 3. Find the roots of this equation, same thing, is equal to 0 to the nearest first decimal place, and hence find an approximate value for root 3. So here, when this is 0, that means y equals 0. What happens? So 3 minus x minus 1 squared is equal to 0. So you can take this one to the other side and write x minus 1 squared is equal to plus 3. Then take square root both sides. X minus 1 equals plus or minus root 3. So here what happens when x equals here positive value, you get the positive root value. So let's look at positive root value. So you get 2.7. So what are the values? You get x equals 2.7. Refer the negative value also, minus 0.7. So to get the positive root 3, you substitute the positive value, the higher value of x. So 2.7 minus 1, you get 1.7 for root 3 value, correct to 1 decimal place. Then it says write down the range of values of x for which the function is positive. So function is positive means where the graph is above the x-axis. So here to here. So what are the x values? So we referred, this is minus 0.7 and point here 2.7. So positive value means this part. This part is when x is in between minus 0.7 and 2.7. So how many marks for this part? So in this part, you are getting 1 mark to write down the maximum value. And then 2 marks to find out the roots. And then taking the positive value, that's 1 mark. And here writing down the inequality, you get 2 marks. So altogether 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we gave 4 marks for the previous 2 parts. So altogether we gave 10 marks for this question. Let's take question number 3. So you get a matrix question and then part B, simultaneous equations. So you have to create 2 equations and solve the 2 equations. So let's do that. So if the multiplication of these 2 matrices is equal to AB, find the values of A and B. Now first we'll check whether we can multiply. What's the size of this matrix? 2, 5 means 1 row, 2 columns. What's the other side? 1, 3, 0, 1, 2. 2 rows and 2 columns. 2 by 2 matrix. We can see the number of columns in the first one is the same as number of rows in the second one. So that means we can multiply, and after we multiply we get 1 by 2 matrix. That means 2 columns and 1 row. How we find out the values? To get the first row, first column value, you have to select the first row with first column. 2 times 3 and 5 times 1, multiply and add it. 6 plus 5, 11 is the answer for this one. For the other one, first row, second column. You have to take first row with the second column. 2 times 0 plus 5 times 2. So 0 plus 2, 10. That's 10. So this answer is 10. So what is A? According to this one, A equals first value, B equals the second value. That's 10. How many marks? For this part, you can get 2 marks. Part B, you have to construct simultaneous equations. A parcel of prize prepared for a prize giving consists of 10 exercise books of the same type and 2 boxes of color pencils of the same type. The price of a box of color pencil is 50 rupees, less than twice the price of an exercise book. If the price of a parcel is 1,300 rupees, taking the price of an exercise book as X. So that's the most important part. X is the price of a book and Y as the price of a color pencil. Construct a pair of simultaneous equations. So books as X. So let's try to create the 2 equations. A parcel of prize prepared for a prize giving consists of 10 exercise books. So 10 exercise books means what is the price? 10x, because 1 book is X rupees. Then 2 boxes of color pencils. That's 2y. That's a total amount for both. So it says how many here? A parcel of prize prepared for a prize giving, 10 exercise books, and so we wrote this one. So this is 10x plus 2y is the total amount for these 2. So that's equal to 1,300. So that's your first equation. What about the second equation? It says the price of a box of color pencil. So that's y is 50 rupees less than the twice the price of an exercise book. 50 rupees is less than the twice means 2x, twice of the price of an exercise book. So 2x minus 50. So that's your second equation. Then by solving the pair of simultaneous equations, find separately the price of an exercise book and the price of box of color pencils. So let's solve these two equations. So we can take y as 2x minus 50 and substitute in the first equation. So let's do that. 10x plus 2. Instead of y, I can take 2x minus 50 is equal to 1300. Then multiply by 2. 10x plus 2 times 2, 4x minus 2 times 50 is 100 is equal to 1300. Then 10 and 4 becomes 14x equals 1300 plus 100, 1400 here. And then divide this by 14, you get x value. So x becomes 100 rupees. Then what about y? We can find y using the second equation. Substitute the x value in the second equation and find the y value. Y becomes 2 times x, 2 times 100 minus 50. 200 minus 50, you get 150 rupees. So what is the price of a book? That's 100 rupees. Price of a book. That's x. So 100 rupees. And price of a box of color pencil is 150 rupees. So let's give marks. So in this one, you get 2 marks for writing the 2 equations. 2 marks for writing the 2 equations. And then to solve these, you get 8 marks. So let's give step by step. Altogether, 8 marks for that. So 1 mark here. And then trying to find out this one. Here, expanding brackets, 1 mark. And then simplifying and getting this one will give 2 marks. And here, finding x value 2 marks and finding y value will give 2 marks. Altogether, 8 marks for that. Let's take question number 4. It's about statistics. So you have to find the mean value, and using the mean value, you have to give answers for the last part. A frequency distribution prepared using the distance travelled by a certain motor car during a month is shown below. So class boundaries are given because there are no gaps in between the intervals. In the table, 0 to 20 denotes the distance greater than 0 or less than or equal to 20. So here second value is included, not the first value. Using a suitable assumed mean or otherwise, find the mean distance travelled by the motor car during a day. So let's take the assumed mean as the midpoint of the modal class. That's the easiest one. What is the modal class according to this one? 9. 9 is the modal value, so 60 to 80. So how you find out the midpoints? You have to add the 2 boundaries and divide by 2. So let's calculate the mean first. So we'll take the first value here the intervals, and the next column will create the midpoints. So how you do? Add and divide by 2. 0 plus 20 divide by 2, you get 10. 20 plus 40, that's 60 divided by 2, that's 30. So we can see adding 20. So 50, 70, 90, 110. Now we can take assumed mean. Here assumed mean as the mid value of this interval, 70. So I'll write down A as 70. Then how you find out the deviation? Deviation becomes the difference between the x value and the assumed mean. So this becomes 0. The difference with the same number is 0. Then what is the difference? Here upper values you get minus values, minus 20, minus 40, minus 60. Subtract, you get positive values here, 20 and then 40. Now what's the last column? You have to multiply f and d. Multiply f and d. 3 with minus 60, that's minus 180. 4 with minus 40, minus 160. 7 with minus 20, minus 140. 0 with this one, 0. 5 with 20, that's 100. And 2 with 40, that's 80. So when you write down the positive values towards left side and negative values towards right side, it's easy to calculate the value. So let's add the negative values. 10, 18, 1 remaining, 2, 3, 4. Minus 508, 480. And this one is plus 180. So what's the difference? You get 300. Minus 300 is the difference. What's the total frequency? Add and see. 7, 14, 15, 16, 21, 30. So how you calculate the mean? Mean is the assumed mean plus sigma FD over sigma F. Total FD column divided by the total F. So assumed mean we took as 70. Sigma FD is minus 300. So you don't have to write down plus there. Minus 300 divided by total frequency is 30. So you get 70 minus 10 is 60. So that's the mean distance. So what's the units? What's the unit? Kilometers. So here, mean distance traveled by the motor car during a day. So that's in kilometers. Then using that, you can find out the answer here. Express the number of days when the distance traveled by motor car is greater than the mean distance as a percentage of the total number of days. So mean is 60. Express the number of days when the distance traveled by motor car is greater than that. Greater than 70, greater than 60. Greater than 60 means here 60 is included. This one. Greater than 60 means from here to here. 9 plus 5, 14. 14 plus 2, 16. 16 cars are there. 16 cars out of 30 into 100% as a percentage. So what's the value? 0, 0. 160 divided by 3. You get 3 times 5. 15 for 10, 3, 9, 1/3%. 53, 1/3. And then what's the last part? This motor car travels the distance of 12 kilometers from 1 liter of fuel. If the price of 1 liter of fuel is 165 rupees, find the monthly expenditure of fuel to the nearest 1000 rupees. So 60 kilometers per day. So 60 kilometers per day. And how many days for a month? 30. So you have to multiply by 30. This is the total number of kilometers traveled. And here for 1 kilometer, it's 165. So this is to find out for 1 kilometer, you have to divide by 12 because 12 kilometer from 1 liter of fuel. So how many kilometers of 12? So here you can get 150. 150 multiplied by 165, you get the total expenditure. So multiply. So 5 times 3, 150. 165 multiplied by 150. So let's do the multiplication here. 165 by 150. So let's multiply here. 165 multiplied by 150. So here you get 150. So 2 zeros, 5, 6, 1. Put 0 and multiply by 5. 25 here. 2 remaining. 5 times 6, 30, 32. 3 remaining. 5 times 1, 5 plus 3, 8. 0, 5, 7, 4. Here 2. 24,750. 24,750 is the total expenditure. So you have to round it to the nearest thousands rupees. So nearest 1000 rupees, here 7 is there. So that means you have to add 1 to the this number 4. So what's the final answer? It's 25,000 rupees. That's the monthly expenditure. So let's give marks for this one. So here finding the mean value. So calculating here, mean value is 1 mark, and FD, calculating FD 1 mark, and taking the total 1 mark. And then calculating the mean value, you get 2 marks here. And calculating the percentage, that's 2 marks. And final part, calculating the expenditure, you get 3 marks. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So altogether 10 marks for the whole question. Question number 5. You have to think about here angles, draw the diagram and find the distances and angle. So you need to use trigonometry in this question. In the figure AB and CD are 2 vertical buildings situated on a horizontal ground. The height of the building CD is 50 meters greater than the height of AB. So what it means? It says here when you draw the line here, this distance is 15 meters. Then the angle of elevation of D from B is 30. So when you connect B and D, angle of elevation is this one. That's 30 degrees given. And the angle of depression of C from B. Angle of depression from B to C, that means from the horizontal line, that's given as 50 degrees. Copy the given figure in your answer script and include the above information. And here you need to know this horizontal line and this is the vertical lines. Here all these are 90 degrees. To mark everything, you will get how many marks? You will get 2 marks for showing all this information. So how many marks for this part? You will get 2 marks for showing all this information. So let's take the next part. Find the distance AC between the 2 buildings. So this one. So let's mark it again. The depression was 50 and the angle of elevation was 30. 30, 50 and this is 50 and these are 90-degree angles. You need to find AC. So that means AC length is same as this length. We'll put another letter as E or something. E. That means BE. Let's take the small triangle. 15 is there. You need to find out this length. Angle is there. To that angle, 15 is the opposite. And BE is the adjacent. What's the relationship? Opposite and adjacent. What's the suitable trigonometry ratio? It's tan. So, SOHCAHTOA, can you remember SOHCAHTOA? SOHCAHTOA. So, tan is opposite over adjacent. So, we have to use tan ratio. Tan 30 is equal to opposite, that's 15 over AC or BE. So, what is AC? AC becomes 15 over tan 30. What's the tan 30 value? If you know the exact values, that's tan 30 is 1 over root 3. Can you remember? So, tan 30 value, if you know the value, you can straight away use 1 over root 3. But if you are not sure about that, you can use the tan table and find the answer. So, 15 over tan 30. So, let's look at the table, tan table and see what's the tan 30 value. Tan 30 is 0.5774. 5774. Now, we'll do division and see. So, let's get rid of all these decimals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Divide by 5774. If you can't do this long division, you can use log tables. 15,000, 150,000. So, this is here not 15,000, 5,774. So, how many like 2? 3 becomes more than that. So, it's 2. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 17, 14. 2 times 7, 14 plus 1, 15. 2 times 5, 10 plus 1, 11. Subtract. You get this, and then for 34,000, let's multiply by 6. 6 is more than, I think so. Let's take 5. 5 times 4, 20. 2 remaining. 5 times 7, 35 plus 2, 30. 7, 3 remaining. 5 times again 7, 35 plus 3, 38, 3 remaining. 5 times 5, 25 plus 3, 28. Now we'll subtract. You get 5, 6, 5. And here you can take another 0. So you get 9 here. 9 times 4, 36, 3 remaining. 9 times 7, 27. 9 times 7, 63. 63 plus 3, 66. 6 remaining. 9 times 7, 63. 63 plus 6, 69. 6 remaining. 9 times 5, 45 plus 6, 51. Again, you get here, subtract these two. 4, 3, 4. And if you want another decimal place, we can get the other one. That's like 8. 8 times 4. 8 times 4, 32. 8 times 7, 56 plus 3, 59. 5 remaining. 8 times 7, 56 plus 5, 61. 6 remaining. 8 times 5, 40, 46. 46. So that means you are not getting 8. So that's roughly 7. So they are asking the answer not given properly. So you can take one decimal place as well. We'll take here, this is correct one decimal place again, 26. 26.0. So here we'll forget about the second decimal place. So let's do just one decimal place and then ignore the here this part. So we'll ignore this part. 4, 5 here, 4, 0. So this should be 7. So I'm taking correct to one decimal place, that's 26. So AC becomes 26. Roughly, what's the distance? Is it meters or let's see from the question, it's meters. So 26 meters for this question. Now let's take the next part. Find the height of the building CD to the nearest meter. So now we found out this is 26 meters. And we know that, well, let's take this one, 50 degrees here. And if this is 50, this is also 50 degrees. Now you can find this height first. That's same as this AB is same as CE. So what's the height of the CD? So earlier we know that from this part, this is 15. So later you have to add 15 to that. So let's use this triangle BAC. Again, AB is the unknown one and 26, that's the adjacent given. So what is opposite over adjacent? Again, tan. So you can use tan. 50 is equal to opposite. Opposite is AB over 26. Now again, what is AB? 26 times tan 50 value. Again, you have to refer the tangent tables and get tan 50 value. So what is tan 50 value? So tan 50 is from the second table. Tan 50 is 1.1918. 1.1918 into 26. So multiply and we'll put the answer 1.1918 multiplied by 26. That's 20 and 6. 2 times 9, 18. 2 times 1, 2 plus 1, 3. 2 times 1, 2. 6 times 8, 48. 6 times 1, 6 plus 4, 10. 1 remaining. 6 times 9, 54. 54 plus 1, 55. 5 remaining. 6 times 1, 6 plus 5, 11. 1 remaining. 6 times 1, 6 plus 1, 7. Add it. And 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you multiply, you get 30.98 something. And to the nearest meter, that's 31. Because 9 is there, you have to add 1 to the previous one. So this is 31 meters is the AB length. So what is the height of the building? CD equals, you have to add 31 and 15. So you get 6 and 4. 46 meters is the height of the building CD. So let's give marks for that. So you are getting this part 5 marks. So 1 mark for taking the proper ratio and 1 mark for finding the table value, and multiply this by this, you get 2 marks here, and rounding 1 mark, and for the final answer 1 mark. So 5 marks for this part. So 5 marks here, and we didn't give marks for this part. So how many marks for this one? Again, we can give 3 marks for that. So 1 mark for the ratio, correct ratio, and 1 mark for referring tan value, and 1 mark for the final answer. So earlier we gave 2 marks, 2, 3, 5, and this 5, you get 10 marks for the whole question. Let's do the next one. Question number 6. That's algebra question. The breadth of a rectangular plate ABCD is x units. Its length is 5 units greater than its breadth. 5 units greater than x. So what's that? If x is the breadth, this should be 5 plus x. 5 units greater than x. As shown in the figure, a right angle triangular portion is removed from one side of it if the area of the remaining portion is 7 square units. 7 square units. Show that x satisfies the quadratic equation. And then you have to solve the equation and answer the following question. So let's try to get this equation. So here this is 5 plus x. And what about this part? 5 plus x minus 2. So 5 plus x minus 2, what's the value? 5 plus x minus 2, you get 3 plus x. Now we know the area of this trapezium is 7 units squared. So how you create an equation? What's the area of a trapezium? The parallel lengths. These two are the parallel lengths. Add the two parallel lengths. 3 plus x and 5 plus x. Divide by 2. Multiply by the perpendicular height. Perpendicular height is x. That's equal to 7. That's the area of the trapezium. Now, let's simplify. 7 times 2, 14 is equal to, inside you get 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 2x multiplied by 2. That means multiply by x. So, you get 8x plus 2x squared when you open brackets. That's equal to 14. Take all terms to one side. 2x squared plus 8x minus 14 is equal to 0. Then divide everything by 2. X squared plus 4x minus 7 is equal to 0. So that's the equation. And using that equation, solve the above equation by completing the square or by any other method and find the length of the rectangular plate to the nearest first decimal place. So you have to first find x value. Completing square or any other method. What are the methods? If you can't factorize this, you can use either completing square method or using quadratic formula. So let's use completing square method. So let's take 7 to the other side. And how you make a perfect square here? Divide the x value by 2 and square it. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. Squaring 2 is 4. So that means you have to add 4 to get the square term. Do the same thing to the other side. So what's the quadratic one? You get x plus 2 squared because square root of x squared and square root of 4 becomes 2. 7 plus 4 is 11. Take square root both sides. You get plus or minus square root 11. When you take any square root, you have to take the square root here plus or minus value. So what is x? X becomes minus 2 plus or minus root 11. Now they are telling to take root 11 value as 3.32. So let's substitute. Let's substitute this one. Minus 2 plus or minus 3.32. So you get plus value and negative value. What happens when you take the negative value? Negative 2 and negative 3.32. And positive value becomes negative 2 plus 3.32. You get a negative answer here. Negative 5.32. Can you get a length as negative? You can't take length as negative. So you can ignore this answer, negative answer, because x should be greater than 0. This answer is x equals, subtract to 1.32. Then what is the length of the rectangular part? That's 5 plus x. So what is 5 plus x? So length becomes 5 plus x. That means 5 plus 1.32. That's 6 point. Yeah, this is 2. This is 2, 6.32. So what's the unit? It's just units not given properly. So nearest first decimal place. 1 decimal place. What's the final answer? It's 6.3. 2 is less than 5, so you don't add 1 to the previous number. So 6.3 units. So how many marks for this part? So you are getting 3 marks to create the equation up to this point using area of the trapezium. You get 3 marks, and for the other part you are getting here finding x value, you get 4 marks. Up to this point you get 4 marks, that's 7. And then finding the length of the rectangle and not taking the x value here, the negative answer, you get 3 marks here. So altogether 10 marks for the question. Now let's do part B. So again you have to answer 5 questions only. In a drill display, the positions of the students in the first 3 rows are shown in the figure. The distance between the 2 nearby students is 1 meter. So this is a progression question. And from this progression, you have to answer the questions. How many students are in the 4th row? So how many there are in the first row? You can count and see, that's 3. Second row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's the pattern here? You can see the first term is 3 and the common difference is the same. 5 minus 3, that's 2. 7 minus 5, that's 2. So that means you have to add 2 to get the next row. So what is the 4th row value? 7 plus 2, that's 9. 9 students are there. 9 students are there in the 4th row. And how many marks for this part? You get only 1 mark. 1 mark for that. If the distance between the students who are standing in the 2 ends of the last row is 30 meters, find the total number of rows in the drill display. So we found out the first term is 3 and the common difference is 2. And the distance between the students who are standing in the 2 ends of the last row. So from, if we say this is the last row, so the distance from the first person to the last person is 30 meters given. Find the total number of rows in the drill display. The distance between the first person and the last person is 30 meters. How many students are there in the last row? How would you do that? So this is like similar to finding gaps. When you have a land and then you find out how many poles around the land, something like that. So this is similar to that. There are several students with the same gap, but 30 meters are there. The gap is 30 meters. So how you find out how many students are there? You have to add 1 to that. So number of students becomes 30 plus 1. 31 students are there. Now you can find out what is this row. Finding n value for the row using Tn formula. 31 students are there in the last row. First term is 3 and you can use the nth term formula, n minus 1 d, d equals 2. Find n, that's the last row. 31 minus 3, you get 28. Divide by 2, you get 14 equals n minus 1. N becomes 15. N becomes 15 means 15 rows are there in this sequence. So what they ask, if the distance is this one, find the total number of rows in the drill display. That's 15 rows are there. How many marks for this part? You are getting 3 marks for that. Finding this one is 1 mark, and then applying to this equation, you get 2 marks to find out number of rows. Then the next part, Naina says that more than 250 students participate in the drill display. Show that this statement is true or false with reasons. So here 250 students participate in the drill. So the total number is 250. So that means as 15 because 15 rows are there. So the total number is 250. And then show that this is true or false. So let's calculate the total. So what's the formula we can use? 15 divided by 2. N divided by 2. And we know in the last row 31 students are there from the previous part. So A plus L. First term is 3 plus 31. You can use that formula to find out the total number. N over 2, A plus L. So 15 over 2 into 34. Divide by 2, you get 17. 17 times 15. 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 1, 5 plus 3, 8. 255. So what happens here? It's 255. Now what it says, Naina says that more than 250 students participate in the drill. So 255 is greater than 250. That means the statement is true. So you can write statement is true. So how many marks for this part? You are getting 255 greater than 253 marks for this. 1 mark here and 2 marks here. Then last part, find the sum of the first 8 terms of a geometric progression of which the first term 3 and the common ratio minus 2. So this is a geometric progression. First term is 3, A equals 3, and ratio, common ratio is minus 2. So sum of the first 8 terms, that means S8. What's the formula for geometric progression? For sum, that's A, that's 3, R to the power. Now R is greater than 1, so you can use R to the power n minus 2 to the power 8 minus 1 over R minus 1, minus 2 minus 1. Now simplify this, you get 3 here, minus 2 minus 1 minus 3. So what is this value? Even power of negative, that means a positive number. 2 to the power 7 is 128. 128 into 2, 256 minus 1. So 3 and 3 get cancelled out. You get 256 minus 1, 255. 256. So here this is minus, because here you get another minus sign. So minus 255 is the sum of 8 terms for this progression. So let's give marks. So in this one you get 3 marks. So this part 3 marks. So altogether we have given 10 marks for the whole question. Let's do question number 8, construction question. So take the ruler and only the compass, pair of compasses. So use only a straight edge with centimeter, millimeter scale and a pair of compasses for the following constructions. The construction lines should be drawn clearly. Construct the triangle LMN such that LM and MN equals 7 centimeters and the angle M is 90 degrees. So let's construct the triangle first. So what is the first thing you do? You take the ruler and draw a line. And take the compass and the ruler. We need to measure 7 centimeter length. So let's measure 7 centimeter length. So 7 centimeters, and we can first take that. So mark the 2 ends. And here you have to mark what's the length we'll take, LM, 7 centimeters. Now to M point you have to construct 90-degree angle. How you construct 90-degree angle using the compass? You take any length and keep the compass on top of M point, and you can draw 2 arcs on both sides. And then take a longer length, keep the compass on top of the marked arc, and you can draw the arc above. And do the same thing for the other point. Now you can connect this M point with the intersecting point here. That's the line, perpendicular line. That's 90 degrees. This is 90. Now we know MN is also 7. So take the compass again and measure 7 centimeter length. And from M you can mark the point where you get the N. So this point. Now connect L and N. That's the LMN triangle. That's the first part. Construct the angle bisector of LMN. So bisecting the angle. Again, you need the compass for that. How you bisect the angle? You keep the compass on top of M. Take any distance you like. And you can draw the 2 arcs first. Here, this one and this one. And you can take the same distance, doesn't matter, or any different length. I'll take a different length, and then you can mark the arc in between. So you have to keep on the marked arc before. So when you draw this one, you can again connect this M point with the intersecting point of the 2 arcs. That's the angle bisector. Construct a line parallel to LM construct a line parallel to LM through the point N such that it meets the angle bisector at K. So you have to draw a parallel line to LM along N. How you construct a parallel line? You can use the parallelogram method or alternate angles are equal. So copy the angle. So let's take parallelogram method. That's the easiest. So what I can do, I can just take the distance from L to M and that distance should be the same as N to that point. So let's take the compass this way and here L to that point. So I'm taking the same length. Okay, so I'll just draw an arc somewhere here. Then the distance from here to here, M to N, should be equal to same thing, 7 centimeter. That length should be equal to this length from L. So we can mark the point. So the intersecting point of the two arcs is the other point. Now here we can take here this point and this one. So I'm taking the ruler connecting this end point and the intersecting point of the two arcs. Here, this line. That means this line and this line both are parallel. Then it says the intersecting point of the bisector and the parallel line meets at K. So this point is K. Construct a circle which goes through the points L, M, N. L, M, N. You have to draw a circumcircle. How do you draw a circumcircle? So you have to consider the here midpoint. Because this is a right angle triangle, the center of the circumcircle definitely on the hypotenuse. So that means here. So angle bisector, bisecting the angle equally. So this should be the center of the circle, circumcircle. So let's take the compass. You can take the distance from O to N or O to L, any distance, because all these are equal. Now let's take the compass and we know that this is O is the center. Take any length from O, ON or OM or OL and see, check the radius. So this radius should be same as here as well as here. Here, can you see? So when you draw the circle, this circle should pass us through all these 3 points. So here, that's the circumcircle of LMN triangle. And then give reasons for LNM equals LNM equals this angle is equal to LKM. LK. So let's connect this first. LKM, this angle. Why these two are equal? Here when you take a look at the circle passes through all these points L, M, N, O, L, M, N, K, all 4 points. So we can see this angle and this angle are same segment angles. So give reasons for L and M equals LKM. So same segment angles. Or if you have not seen that, you can use another method to find out whether these are equal. You can see that when you draw the circle, this LMN is an isosceles triangle because these two lengths are equal. This angle is equal to this angle. But we know that these two lines are parallel. This angle should be equal to this angle as well. So all these are 45 degrees. This is 45. This is also 45, 45. And this is the diameter. So this is 45. And what else? What we can see? These lengths are here. This is 45. And what else we can see? Instead of doing same segment angles, can we do another method? This is 45, this is 45. And this is 45 here, angle bisector. This is also 45. So here you can say this is 90 again. This is 45. Using the angles, you can find out this is also 45 here. If you are not seeing these are same segment angles, from calculating the angles, you can get the same value. But the easiest way to do this is you should be able to see these are two angles in the same segment. So let's give marks for these parts. So you get 3 marks for constructing the triangle LMN. 1 mark for 90-degree angle and 7 centimeter lengths, and connecting all together 3 marks. And part 2, construct the angle bisector, just 1 mark. And part 3, construct the line parallel to LM, that's 2 marks. And then 4th part, constructing the circle, that's 2 marks. And then last part, give the reason, that's also 2 marks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Altogether 10 marks for this question. Let's do question number 9. You have to prove these two triangles are equal, congruent, and prove that APCQ is a parallelogram. So let's do the first part. ABCD is a parallelogram. The angular bisector of BCD and BAD meets the diagonal BD at the points P and Q respectively. Show that BAQ angle is equal to PCD. This angle. How you are going to show that? So we know these are bisectors. So if this is X, this is also X. And we know that if it's a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. So this is also, if it's 2x here, this is also 2x. But again, this is the bisector. So this is X and this is X. So straight away, you get these two angles are equal. How we are going to write this? So let's take DCP angle is same as PCB angle. That's X because angle bisector is PC. Same thing, you can write a DAQ angle is equal to QAB. That's also angle bisector. But we can say that BCD angle is equal to DAB. Let's do that here. DAB angle is equal to DCB. What's the reason? Opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal, opposite angles. So we know this is a bisector, so that becomes, so I can write this one is 2x because the whole angle 2x, that's equal to 2x. Then again these two are equal, that means DAQ angle and this QAB angle, each one, that's X. Now we can see QAB, or you can write BAQ. Therefore, BAQ angle is equal to PCD angle. So that's also, we labeled it as X. So that's the first part, showing that these two angles are equal. You get 2 marks. Let's take the next part. Show that ABQ triangle, this triangle, is equal to, congruent to CDP triangle, this one. Now earlier we found that this angle is same as this angle. And these two lines are parallel. So we can see this angle is equal to this angle. Alternate angles are equal because this is a parallelogram. ABCD is a parallelogram. We have two angles now. What is the next one? Again, what we can say? These two lengths are equal. Opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. So two angles and one length. You can say that these two triangles are congruent. So let's write. So let's consider ABQ triangle and CDP triangle. AB is equal to CD, opposite sides of a parallelogram. Opposite sides of a parallelogram. Then I can write BAQ angle is equal to PCD angle, that's X. We proved that before. Now we can write ABQ angle is same as BDC angle because of alternate angles. Therefore, ABQ triangle is congruent to CDP triangle. So what's the case? Angle side. 2 angles and 1 length. So how many marks for this part? Showing that the 2 triangles are congruent. So you get 4 marks for that. So 1 mark here, 1 mark, and giving the reason 1 mark. So 4 marks for that. Third part, prove that APCQ is a parallelogram. So let's connect that and see. You have to show that APCQ is a parallelogram. So what are the things that we know? We know that from the previous part, ABQ and CPD are congruent triangles. From the property of congruency, what can we say? This angle we found, this angle. From that, this angle is equal to this angle. From that, we can say that these 2 sides are equal. That's the property of corresponding elements of the congruent triangles. So straight away you can say AQ is equal to PC. Corresponding elements of congruent triangles. Those 2 are equal. And what else we know? These 2 sides are equal because of the triangle. And then what are the other things that we can say? Then also we can see that here this angle, I'll take another color. This angle is same as, that's opposite to this is this angle. Again, same thing, corresponding elements of congruent triangles that we proved before. So you can say AQP angle is same as CPQ or D. We'll write Q, CPQ. So same reason, corresponding elements of congruent triangles. Because opposite to AB, that angle is same as opposite to CD, that angle. These are equal. That means alternate angles are equal. Those are alternate angles. So alternate angles are equal. That means the 2 lines are parallel. AQ is parallel to PC. Now we know AQ equals PC. AQ is parallel to PC. One pair of opposite sides equal and parallel. You can say this is a parallelogram. So therefore, we can say APCQ is a parallelogram. What's the reason? One pair of opposite sides equal and parallel. So, how many marks for this one? You get 4 marks. 1 mark here, 1 mark here, showing that this is parallel, and giving the reason, you get 1 mark. So altogether 4 marks for this part. Let's do question number 10. So you have to show that using this diagram, PQR is bisected by line QT. So let's read and write down all the information. P, Q and R are 3 points on the circle. P, Q, R on the circle given in the figure. PQ equals PR. The line QR produced as such that PQ is equal to RS. So these 3 lengths are equal. It's given. The line PS meets the circle at the point T. Show that PQR, this angle is bisected by QT line. So you have to show that these 2 angles are equal. Then show that PT, after that show that PT is equal to TR. You have to show these 2 lengths are equal. So let's take PQR triangle. This is an isosceles triangle. If this is 2x, this is also 2x. So let's write down that first. PRQ angle is same as PQR angle. We'll put 2x because isosceles triangle. What's the next thing? This is bisected. So we know this is, you have to show that this is bisected. So don't take that. So first you have to show that PQR is bisected by line QT. So how you are going to show that these 2 are equal? Now can you see this is 2x. And this is the exterior angle to PRS triangle. So if these 2 are equal, this length, this angle and this angle should be the same. But the sum is 2x. So we'll put A here. 2A is equal to 2x. So we can say that A equals x. Because this is using exterior angle is equal to sum of opposite interior angles. So that's same angle. Then what can you say? Look at TR chord. This angle and this angle, same segment angles are equal. So you can write TPR angle, that's x, is equal to RQT angle. That should be the same segment angles. So this is A, means this is, here we found A equals x. So I'll change it to x here. So this is x. So this is also x. Now if this is 2x, this is x. So what is the other angle? You can say PQT angle is 2x minus x. That becomes x. Now we can see this is also x. This is also x. So from QT, the angle is bisected. So here you can write PQT angle is same as TQR angle. That means you can finally say QT line bisect the PQR angle. So that's the first part, and then you are asked to show that PT equals TR. So let's try PT equals TR. I'll take a different color now, orange color. So you have to show that these two are equal, means you have to somehow show that this is also X. Now we can see that PQT, this angle and this angle both are the same segment angles. Here if PT is the chord, same segment angles are there. So you can again write down T, yeah, this one, TRP angle is same as PQT angle. What's the reason? Reason is same segment angles. Therefore, we can see that these two in this triangle, PTR triangle, TPR angle is same as TRP angle, is same as X. This is an isosceles triangle. So therefore, isosceles triangle PT should be equal to TR. In the isosceles triangle, these two angles are equal, means this length should be equal to this length. So that's how we can show this part. So let's see how many marks for this question. You are getting 7 marks for the first part. So showing all of these 7 marks for the first part. So 1 mark here, we'll give all 1 mark each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here 1 mark here, and another 1 mark we'll give for showing this one. So 7 marks for the first part, and using that we found this is bisected here, and you get isosceles triangle. So we'll give 3 marks for that. 1, 2, and 3. So altogether 10 marks for this question. Let's take question number 11. It's a set question. So let's try to do that. A Shramadana campaign was organized by certain welfare society. Total number of members were 150. So total is 150. Out of them, 120 members participated to the campaign. So this is those who participated to the campaign, and 70 of them were females. Now this is male circle. So out of this circle are females, that's 70. So this should be 70. Number of males who did not participate were 10. So here outside this circle is 10. That belongs to male circle. Copy the given Venn diagram in your answer script and write down the elements in the relevant regions. So we know if this is 70, this is 128. Subtract and get the other part. 58 here. Now, when you take 128, this is 10, 138. 150 minus 138, you get the other part. So that means 12 outside the two circles. Then they ask, what is the number of female members who did not participate? So outside this circle and outside this one. So those are females, not participated. So 12 is the answer. So let's give marks for this one. So you are getting 3 marks for showing all the values here and 2 marks for this part. So 5 marks. Then it says 3 males and 5 females who participated to Shramadana and 5 males and 4 females who did not participate to Shramadana were engaged in the serving task. Copy the Venn diagram again and include the set of members who engaged in serving and mention the relevant number of elements belonging to each region. So let's try to draw another diagram. So I'll first draw the rectangle and we had 2 circles. And now, according to the previous one, now there's another circle. What's the other circle? It says, here it says, engage serving. Members who engage in serving. So we'll draw another circle here. So this is males. So this is males. And this is who participated in Shramadana. And this new circle is serving. It says members who engaged in serving. Engaged in serving. And altogether, how many were there? 150. 150 here. And here 128. And we found from the previous one, this is 10. So let's mark that. We'll first read the given one. 3 males and 5 females who participated to Shramadana. So from this, 3 males and 5 females. Now what happens? This males circle here and 3 males from this. 3 males and 5 females. So from 12, 5 comes here who did not participate to Shramadana were engaged in serving. So out of 12, 5 comes here. So this part should be 5. 5 females engaged in serving. So this becomes 7 then. 12 minus 5. Then 3 males and 5 females. So 3 males out of the male circle, 3 males who participated in the Shramadana. So that means 3. Now join to engage in serving. And 5 females. Now outside the male circle and inside 128 circle, that's here. 5. 5 females and 3 males who participate to Shramadana, and 5 males and 4 females who did not participate. So here 12 were there. So 4 females comes here. 4 females and how many males? 5 males. So out of the Shramadana circle, that's 5. 5 males who did not participate in the Shramadana were engaged in the serving. So that's what happened here. And now you have to write down the other numbers. So we found, now this is 4 there, 12 minus 4, 8 here. This becomes 8. So what happened to this part? Earlier 10. From 10, now 5 there, so 5 here. What about the other part? 70 was there. Now this is 70. From 70, 5 joined here, so this is 65. What's the common part? 58. 58. So 3 here from 58 part. 58 minus 3, 55. So this should be the new diagram. And here you have to write down, mention the relevant number of elements belonging to each region. So you have to show this part. So how many marks for that? Showing all these values. 65, 55, 5, 5, 4 and 8. Everything you get 3 marks for this question. Now they're asking, if a member is selected randomly, find the probability of not participating in any of the tasks from serving of Shramadana. So that means you have to find out outside these 2 circles. This is Shramadana and this is engaging in serving, not both. So what are those? 8 and 5. 8 and 5, that means 13. So what's the probability of this? 13 out of 150. You can't simplify. And what's the mark for that? You get 2 marks. So we gave all together 10 marks for the sets question. Question number 12, that's the last question. A cylindrical metal rod of radius r. Cylindrical container, metal rod of radius r. And the height 6 times the radius. That means you can write 6r. 6 times the radius is made by melting a solid sphere of radius a. Solid sphere with radius a. Without any wastage. Show that a equals this. So here volume of this is same as volume of this, if there are no wastage. So what is the volume of the sphere? 4/3 pi radius cube, that is a cube. That should be equal to the volume of the cylindrical metal rod. What's the volume of the cylinder? Pi r squared, r is the radius, into height. Height is 6h. 6r. Height is 6r. Now we can see pi get cancelled out. 4/3 a cube is equal to 6r cube. Now you have to make a as the subject. So a cube keep in this side. You get 3 times 6. That's 18 r cube divided by 4. Simplify. 2 times 2, 2 times 9. So 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. R cube is equal to a cube. So what is a? Take the cube root of both sides. A becomes cube root of 4.5 r cube. Now we can see r power 3 into 1/3. Cube root means 1/3. That becomes 1. So you can rewrite this as 4.5 cube root into r is equal to a. So what's the value? A equals cube root of 4.5 into r. Then using logarithmic table, find the value of a to the nearest second decimal place. R take as 3.5. So let's do that. So r is 3.5. So cube root I can write as power 1/3. 4.5 1/3 and 3.5 as r. Now when you are using logarithms, you can take log both sides. When you take log both sides, we can see multiplication becomes addition. So I can straight away write, taking the power down, 1/3 log of 4.5 plus log of 3.5. Now, what is the mantissa? 4.5 means, when you write in standard form, that's power 0, 0 point something. Plus, here also mantissa is 0. Now we have to use the log tables and find out these values. 45 0. 45 0. 45 6532. 6532. 35 0. 35 0. 5441. First divide this by 3. 3 times 2, 3 times 1, 3. For 23, that's 7. For 22, that's 7. For 10, that's 3. So you can round it to 4 decimal places, 2177 plus 0.5441. Now add the 2 decimals. If you can't add it this way, you have to write in a column. 7 plus 1, 8. 7 plus 4, 11. 1 remaining. 2 plus 4, 6. And this 5 and 2, 7. 0.7618. Now, to find a, you have to consider the antilog value of this. So, refer the table. 7618. 7618 in the second table. 7618. 19 is there. 2 is there. So we can take 57, 7 and 8. 57, 7, 8. 57, 7, 8, and here the mantissa is 0. That means you keep the decimal point here. And you are asked to round it to 2 decimal places. So that means you get 5.78. Because 8 is there, you have to add 1 to the previous one. So 5.78. 8. So what's the unit? It's not given, just units. So we can write units there. Okay, so let's give marks for this question. You are getting here, proving up to this point, how many marks? You are getting 4 marks for that, up to this point. And then you get 6 marks for the logarithm part. So taking log both sides, 1 mark. And for each log value, you get 1 mark. And then 1, 2, 3. For addition, 1 mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. And taking the anti-log value, 1 mark. And rounding the final answer, 1 mark. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 4 marks altogether. 10 marks for this question. So we completed all 12 questions in paper 2. So you have to do only 5 questions from part A and 5 questions from part B. Make sure that first you do the paper and then watch my video to check your answers.